Hello friends and welcome to A Shot of Code. Today we're going to be looking at gestures in Polymer 3. In this case we're going to be looking at how to do a swipe left or right. Now I've done a previous video on gestures. I'm going to be building on that, so if you haven't used gestures in Polymer before, I suggest having a quick look at this and you understand a bit more of what's going on here, because I'm using that as the base. Got Visual Studio Code open here, let's jump in. Now what I've got is a basic created from the Polymer CLI application, and we've included the gesture event listeners mixin here, and we just got a simple container that is filling the height of our view with this orange border around it, and on there is the gesture event on track, which we are handling here. And just console logging out at the moment. So if I click and drag in here, we can see we're getting this this log event coming out. Now the last one we did was a drag and drop, but this one is a swipe, and for that we want to know how quickly the user's mouse or finger is moving across the screen, and the gesture event listeners gives us this within the parameter that gets passed in to our on-track event. Previously we were using e.detail.x, and that gave us the actual coordinate where you're touching, but there's a ddx property, and that gives us how much change since the last on-track event in a particular axis, and we'll be after the x-axis here. So that's the property we're going to use. I'll start off though by just creating a couple of properties for our element to hold whether we've seen a swipe or not. So let's do a swipe left here, call that Boolean, and we'll have a swipe right also. Okay, so we've got two properties there. They should default to false. We'll see if they do. And then within our container, I'll have a div that we want to show whether we have seen a swipe or not. So these two divs, a swipe left, swipe right div, will become visible if we get the swipe. So let's say swipe right, that, and then we'll have another one for swipe left. Okay, let's just check that they come up. Okay, so we've got our swipe left and swipe right. Okay, now initially we want them to be hidden, so we can use the hidden attribute, and for Polymer to recognize that we need to put the $sign on the end to say it's not a property, it's an attribute. And in here, I think we can literally just put in swipe left, and then also similar for swipe left. Okay, we'll get those right. Swipe left. Okay, now will that hide them both? Let's have a look. No. Not sure if they are defaulted correctly, so let's specify this in here. So we'll say the type is Boolean, and we'll say the value is false. And let's do the same for swipe right. So it's type, it's Boolean, and value false, and see if that gets them to disappear. Okay, just typo there, couple of typos there, a colon somewhere. Ah, there. closed brackets. Okay. Alright, let's go back to console here. It's still not hidden. So this hidden here, so swipe hidden. Okay, so yeah, we need not on the front of these, and that should hide them. No, still not hiding them. I think we actually need to bind these, don't we? So more like this. Okay, and in. Okay, and now they are hidden. Okay, so we're going to want these to display when we do a swipe. So let's, in our track event here, let's have a look at what we've got. I want to say if we've moved, say, more than 30 pixels since the last go, so it's a fairly fast movement of the touch or mouse. So if e.detail.ddx is greater than 30, then we're going to say, yeah, we've done a swipe here. So we'll say this dot swipe right is true, and then also if e.detail ddx is less than minus 30, so for the swipe left, this dot swipe left is true. Okay, let's see what we get here. So if I do a swipe right now, we can see that coming up, and if I do a swipe left, we can see that coming up. So I'll just refresh it, and you can't see, but if I'm doing it slowly, we're not getting anything coming up. I'll see if I can just bring this down so we can see this on the screen. Okay, so if I'm swiping right slowly, we're just getting the track, but when I go fast, we get the swipe right, and when I go fast the other way, we get the swipe left. Not sure how easy that was to see, but hopefully that showed it. Okay, so we can just tidy this up a little bit now. If we do set timeout and say we just want to clear the swipe right, so we'd say this dot swipe right equals false, and let's have that after a couple of seconds, and we'll do similar in here. We set it to true, and then set timeout. And this dot swipe left equals false. Again, we'll do that after 2 seconds. So if I refresh it now, and we don't even need this bit anymore. So when I swipe right, we get a swipe right, and then it disappears. And then when I swipe left, again that disappears after there. In fact, if I do it with the mouse, you can check that it's working there as well, and you'll be able to see that on the screen. So I swipe right and swipe left, so you can see you've got to do it fairly fast. So if I'm doing it slowly across, nothing's happening. But as soon as I do it nice and fast, you get that swipe. So in terms of determining how fast you've got to swipe, you can specify that with the number of pixels changed since the last swipe. So yeah, there you go. That would be how to do swipe left, swipe right, swipe any direction. In fact, you can use DDY as well in Polymer 3 using the gestures. All right, well, I hope that was helpful. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.